All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful playbook for building quality that lasts. And look, we're not talking about catching mistakes at the end of the assembly line. We're talking about building systems where mistakes pretty much can't happen to begin with. This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. It basically says, quality is not in the final product that reaches the customer, it's built at every stage of production. The whole idea is that quality isn't some final inspection. It's something you bake into the process from the very first step. So how do you actually do that? Well, the formula is surprisingly simple, but man, is it powerful. You take lean production, which is all about getting rid of waste, and you combine it with kaizen, the philosophy of always, always getting better. When you put those two together, you get sustainable quality. It almost becomes inevitable. But before we get into the tools, we've got to understand what's at stake. We need to talk about the very real and often invisible price you pay for getting this wrong. Let's talk about the hidden cost of failure. Seriously, think about that for a second. When just one thing goes wrong in a process, what does it really cost you? Is it just the price of the part you have to scrap? Or is it something much, much bigger? This iceberg analogy is perfect. The stuff you see above the water, those are the obvious costs. The scrap, the rework, the warranty claims. Yeah, that's the tip of the iceberg. But the real danger, the part that can actually sink the entire ship, is everything hidden underneath. Lost efficiency, production downtime, missed opportunities, and the silent killer, a damaged reputation. And this isn't just a metaphor. You can actually calculate it. The cost of poor quality, or COPQ as it's known, is a real number. It's the total of all those things, the visible and the invisible. You add up the scrap, the rework, the warranty costs, the lost productivity, the opportunity cost, and suddenly you see the true financial hole that poor quality is digging. So why would you go through all that trouble? Because knowing that number is a strategic weapon. It shows you if a project is really profitable, it tells you exactly where you need to focus your improvements, and it helps you make a rock-solid case to management for the investments you need to make things better. Okay, we get it. The cost is high. So what do we actually do about it? Let's get practical and look at the toolkit. We're going to walk through 5 key approaches that really bring this whole philosophy to life. So these are the 5 pillars that hold it all up. First, there's Gemba, which just means go see for yourself. Get out of the office and onto the floor where the real work happens. Second, pokayoke. This is basically mistake-proofing. Think of how a USB plug only fits one way. That's pokayoke. Third, heijunka. This is all about leveling out your production schedule to create a smooth, predictable flow. Fourth, jidoka. This is automation with a human touch, machines that are smart enough to stop when they detect a problem. And finally, 5S. A system for creating a super clean, organized, and standardized workplace where problems have absolutely nowhere to hide. Now, those 5 pillars are the structure, but they're all held up by one fundamental practice. It's a simple but profound shift in how you think. Let's talk about why asking one simple question matters more than just about anything else. We've all been there, right? You fix something, and 2 weeks later, surprise, it's broken again. That's because you were just chasing a symptom. The goal here is to stop playing whack-a-mole and start digging down to solve the real problem for good. And the tool for that is the 5 whys. Now, it sounds almost too simple to be effective, but it is one of the most powerful techniques out there. The idea is that by asking why over and over again, you start peeling back the layers of the onion, moving past the obvious symptoms to find this systemic issue right at the core. So, here's how you do it. And you've got to be disciplined. You start with the problem, just the facts. Then you ask your first why. You take that answer and you ask why about that. You just keep digging, peeling back those layers until you hit bedrock, the root cause. And that is the only thing you should be trying to fix. The benefits of this are huge. It forces you to get past that easy, lazy answer of human error. Instead, you find the real causes, like a gap in training or a flawed process. And when you fix those things, the problems stay solved. Even better, your entire team's mindset starts to shift from being reactive firefighters to proactive problem solvers. It really is that simple. Quick fixers are just band-aids. Real, sustainable quality only happens when you address the real cause. When you do that, the problem is gone for good. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important mindset shift of all. This is the idea that underpins this entire approach to quality. It's about learning to fix your systems, not blame your people. This right here is the big takeaway. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is often to point a finger. But this philosophy says that's a dead end. Instead of asking who messed up, we need to ask what in our system allowed this mistake to happen. Because when you fix the process, you empower everyone and prevent that mistake from happening again, no matter who's doing the job. And that is the ultimate goal. This whole thing isn't just about putting out today's fires. It's about building a fireproof organization. The real win isn't just solving today's problem. It's building the muscle and the systems to prevent tomorrow's problems before they even start. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about that one recurring, annoying problem you deal with, the one that never seems to fully go away. What do you think you might find if you just stopped, took a breath, and asked why one more time?